everyone, Dr DoomRay here again, and this time I'm just here to review Nimble Quest, which is available on iOS and Android and all other manner of systems. I think you can get it on Mac App Store as well now. But this is, one of the simplest games that I've seen, well, simplest ideas for a game that I've seen in a very long time, and it takes that kind of age-old idea of taking two things that are good and hoping that when you combine them together, it makes something better, which often it doesn't, but in this case it has. So everybody remembers Snake from kind of the late 90s into the mid noughties, which was a big hit on all the Nokia devices. So this uses the same kind of idea where you have the kind of up, down, left, right control system, but in this case, instead of having a snake and eating apples, you have a series of heroes, and you collect more and more heroes, and try and go through a series of dungeons. And then instead of apples, there's kind of buffs, and so you can get shields or bombs and those kind of things. And then you have these moving targets, which are also in trains, and if you take out the front member of the train, the entire train disappears. So it makes quite a nice, kind of very simplistic, strategic, element to the game. And it sounds simple, and it is simple, but there are, kind of genuinely deep tactics. And if you type in Nimble Quest tactics on the internet, you will be inundated with options on people's different strategies for different levels and so on. But essentially, the idea is to try and find, a team mix that kind of works well for you. But the same rules of Snake apply, so that if your train or your snake goes into itself, you lose the party. And as you progress through the game, you can level up your characters, giving them extra health, extra attack powers, and those kind of things, and finding various combinations of train that work well for you. So there really is a lot to consider in your party build and how they work together and interact together. But I've been putting a lot of time into this game recently, and I'm really enjoying it. And I've played it on iPad, I've played it on Mac, I've played it on iPhone, and to me the iPhone seems like the most natural fit. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's that kind of Snake idea, and to me it works better on a mobile. So my recommendation would be, if you've got an iPhone, get it on that or an iPod. But if not, on the iPad and everything, it works really nicely as well. And even on the Mac, it works quite nicely. And one thing that is nice on the Mac versions is that you get a larger screen, so you can see a lot more. So you don't have the restraints. But to me, that kind of landscape feel actually adds to the game, because you're not sure of what's in the different parts of the level. So to me it just works better, but it's entirely personal preference. But yeah, so really, this is another game that I've really enjoyed, been putting a lot of time into, and it's a lot deeper than it seems at first. And the more you play it, the more kind of the more you'll start thinking about how your team's built and how to approach different levels. And there are in-app purchases, but they're not very intrusive. That you can play the game without them. It's not one of those games that's broken without in-app purchases. I've played a lot of the game and haven't spent a penny in in-app purchases. So don't feel because it's free, you're going to have to be plowing money into it, like a Zynga title or something like that. So Nimble Quest, I'm going to put the link down in the description, but really can't recommend it enough. Great game, really simple idea, really beautifully executed, and great game all round. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.